Hey everybody, Joy here. We're gonna make pajama pants. And look what I found in my closet. A pajama shirt. I could wear this with my pajama pants. I won't though. I like this too much. I don't want to wear it to bed. And I still am looking for some orange. I have an orange with me, but it's a polyester. And for my knits to sleep in, I really prefer to have cotton. Polyester is not supposed to get hot anymore, but I think polyester gets hot when you're in bed. So here's what I'm going to start with. You're going to ask me, what pattern did you use? So I looked through all my patterns, and I found It's So Simple McCalls L9506. I doubt this is still available. I don't know if they have these It's So Simples anymore, but you don't need to have this pattern. Any pattern for pants with an elastic waistband. This one has, well, is that elastic? Yeah. This has pockets, which is why I really like it, and an elastic waistband, front and back. Sorry about the cough drop. I've been trying to get a sore throat. The allergies are so bad right now. So pants are so easy to make. They really are. So easy. This has a front, a back, and a waistband, and two pockets. I'm not going to put a waistband on it. Why should I put a waistband on it when I can just make the top longer and fold it down over and put some elastic in it? I don't know how I made them the last time. Did I even put a picture? Yes, I did. There's my pajamas I made. I still wear them. They still can fit me. This isn't made to be pajamas. It's made for her to wear wherever she wants to wear it, not to bed. I am using it for pajama pants. Now keep that in mind. Your pattern doesn't have to say pajama pants, okay? And if I was at my other house, I'd have a whole bunch more patterns to pick from. All right, my waist and my hip is still the same. The crotch is still the same. So I should not have any problems. That's what you need to know. You need to know your waist. Where's your waist? Your waist is where your pants are going to be. Where's the elastic casing going to go on your body? Do you want it clear up here? My real waist is clear up here now. I don't want my pants up there. I want my pants on my belly button waist, and it's down here. So I'm going to make them to fit my belly button waist. And my hip, the widest part of your hip. Where's the widest part of your hip? The widest part of your hip is where you're the widest. A lot of ladies have big, I won't say big, but their body is built so they're wide down here in the thigh area. I'm flat as a board on my thighs. But some women, you know, are big right here. And so if that's where you're the biggest, measure that part. Because remember, if you're going to have a rubber band waist, you've got to pull the pants up from the floor over the widest part of you. And then they have to snap into your waist. So be sure, if you have to, measure centimeters. If you have to, cut a piece of string. If you can't stand to look at how big you are, like me, figure it out and make it big enough and give yourself some ease. Give yourself, probably in these kind of pants, well, I would say at least 2 inches of ease, because it's woven. So what do you do to figure out how much ease you need? take the measuring tape around the widest part of you and sit down. When you sit down, your tape is going to spread out. That's how much you need, plus at least an inch or two past that. That's right. So if you will start with the right measurements, you're going to need your crotch length, which is from your belly button. I'm going to make mine at my belly button. If you're going to make yours 2 inches below your belly button, then start there. Mine's my belly button, underneath me, and all the way back up to my back waist. That's my crotch length. Mine is 26 inches. From my belly button to my water outlet valve is 12 inches. From my water outlet valve to up here, where my waistband is going to be. Now remember, your waist is going to have the elastic above it. The elastic is going to go above your waist. So we're going to add enough for the elastic to go above. So see here, the bottom of the elastic is right on my belly button. Now there's another tip for you. If you have a pair of pants like these actually could be an inch taller in the crotch, in the front and the back. They could be taller. I bet if I measured it, it comes up to about 22 or 24, and I'm 26. If you have a pair of pants in your closet with an elastic waistband that you pull up and you like the way they fit you, and when you sit down, they don't pull down in the back, and they stay where you want them to stay, measure them. Measure from the crease, the inseam, to the front, inseam to the back, underneath where the elastic's going to be now, and then you will have it proper for your body also. So let's look at my pattern. Now one thing that happened with my pajama pants, and I don't know if it's this particular pair, I have one pair I made out of flannel, and those were pre-washed. I pre-wash all my fabric. But after I made them, they shrunk and they shrunk. Those things are so short. So now I am going to make my pajama pants touch the floor. I never wear shoes. I walk around in bare feet or socks all the time. And so I want my pajama pants to touch the floor. So when I'm sitting in a chair, they don't pull clear up to my knees. Do you see how I have extended this here? That's what I told you I'm going to do. I'm going to fold this down and make my own casing. I'm not going to do it like they do it and add a waistband to it. So I've got some notes here, add 3/4 inch. So I added 3/4 inch up here. I don't know what I did to tell you the truth, but I added 3/4 inch somewhere. So that is the back. Sorry about the cough drop. At least it keeps me from coughing. Here's the front. Add 3/4 inch. I did. So this is where I added the 3/4 inch right here in the crotch. I added 3/4 inch on the front, this part right here, and I added 3/4 inch on the back. Okay, center back seam. And then I also added extra here, a little bit extra there, for enough room in the hip. But these look like they're going to be plenty big for me still. And I'm so excited. Now my elastic, somebody asked me recently, where do I get my elastic that's 2 inches wide, maybe 2.5, and I can slice it. I can slice it to 1/4 inch, 3/8 inch, 1/2 inch, whatever I want. I love it. That comes from Peggy Sager's at Silhouette Patterns. I don't know if other people's elastics can be done like that or not. Oh, where's my pocket? I got it in my pocket. Here's my pocket. See, isn't that fun? Yeah. Gotta have a pocket. Your phone, the remote control, your Kleenex. So now, what am I going to do? I have Palmered and Plush this. You know, Palmer and Plush is a wonderful fitting system that I've used for years and years and years. And why don't I use my SureFit Designs? Because I don't need to. I can make any pants pattern fit me. I can make any top pattern fit me. But sometimes I get tired of doing the FBA, and so I'll do a SureFit Designs because if you do sure fit designs, it already has the bust dart in it. And that makes it a lot easier, not so much correction that has to be made. But on the pants don't have bust darts. And even on the pants, you're going to have to know your numbers because you're going to have to draw it properly with the sure fit design to make sure your crotch depth and your crotch length are right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to palmer and flesh it, which means I'm going to take the paper and I'm going to pin it together. I am going to sew this paper together. Yep. And then I'm going to pull it up on my body and I'm going to see, since I've got a bigger belly now, does it still come up to my waist? And is it long enough that it's going to touch the floor? So that's what I'm going to do. And remember, I got this at Hobby Lobby. So these are the pajama pants I'm making. So let me get this pinned together and try them on with the pins, and then we'll cut them out and make them. Okay? I'll be back. If you have a pair of pants you like and you want to measure the crotch, you take them off or get them out of your closet and you put one leg inside the other leg. Then you can see the crotch really good. So I am going to measure the crotch on these because they fit me pretty good, although I think they're a little short. So the front crotch, underneath the waistband, the front crotch underneath the waistband is only 10. See, I need 12, only 10. The back crotch underneath the waistband down to the inseam, hold it the best you can. The back crotch is 14 3/4. Now my back crotch is 14. That's where I like it. So the water outlet valve's probably a little off on these, but because the back is bigger than 14, the front could actually be, what did I say it was, 12? If I measure over to that spot where my back crotch should quit, hold on, I hope there's no mirror behind me. All right, so we're going to say 14. So now let's measure the front again, because these fit me pretty good. Okay, 11. No, 10 and a half. So the front crotch is 10 and a half. So it is 1.5 inches shorter. So that's why I was like pulling them up a little higher. So totally, what would that be? Totally, that would be 24 and a half. Yes, I can wear these, but they could be a little longer both ways. So I have my pants all sewn together with pins. I pulled them up on my body. They are pinned together at the 5/8 inch because that's what the seam allowances are. And you can see here that the back is higher than the front. But when I pull this up on my body, you have to have your top off, your pants off. You need to be in your bra and panties to do this. The side was fine. The front was fine. The back was 1 inch away from where I wanted it to be. Why? Why were they fine back then? I don't know. I went and I looked at my new measurements that Philly took, and sure enough, I'm 27 now, not 26. So I'm going to add 1 inch to the back. Now remember, this is paper. So it's not going to fit like fabric's going to fit, but you sure can tell if your body's going to get in it or not. It's wonderful. This is the palmer and flesh system where you fit the paper to your body, and I think it's just amazing. Philly and I both use this on every single thing we make. We've walked around this room measuring each other for years. She used to come here sometimes, or to my other house. I used to have a house up there. We both used to live in Oklahoma City, so in those days we got to get together a lot and play palmer and flesh. So what I'm going to do is add 1 inch to the back crotch length. I don't care what the depth is. Doesn't matter what the depth is. I don't even know why they measure that. If the crotch length fits you, then the crotch depth will fit you, in my opinion. Now, of course, that's just my opinion, and you can't go by that. Okay, so let's get a rotary cutter or a pair of scissors. I am going to cut the waist on this. I'm going to cut the waist. You need to know where the waist is. So as I added to this, way back when I added the waistband, I decided I didn't want to use the waistband. So I'm cutting to the 5/8 inch line. I'm cutting to the 5/8 inch line this way. Now, this is my center back. This is right here. Center back. You see here, I have a hinge. I am just going to lift this up 1 inch. It's fine on the side seams. I checked the side seams. They're fine. Why does it fit me in the sides and not the front and the back? Because my belly's bigger. My belly's bigger. My rear end isn't much bigger. I've always had kind of a flat rear end. But evidently it wants more room. So we shall give it to it. So that's where I'm going to add my inch. I'm going to get some paper. I have some paper. I'm going to put the paper in there. You know, when you go back to a pattern years later, like I'm doing here, it's hard to tell what you did then if you don't make good notes. Philly makes a lot better notes than I do on what she does to a pattern. Slap your ruler down. Mark 1 inch. Go from that 1 inch line. Let's go straight up, center back. Straight up. Go from that 1 inch line all the way over to here. All the way over. Because I'm not 26 anymore, I'm 27 crotch length, okay? And then you tape your waistband back down. These corrections aren't hard, but they can be kind of messy. You need to make sure you do a really good job at taping. Now I did not get that tape down right, so we'll pull it up and pull it over. You know, the tape, even though this is permanent tape, it pulls up real easy at first. After it's been there a while, there's no getting it up. You've got to have a chainsaw or something. Why don't I use removable tape? Because removable tape removes itself. You put it in the envelope and it gets in there and it's like, it's dark in here. Let's remove ourselves so it'll be a surprise next time she comes back. Oh yeah, it happens. All right, so we're going to cut the extra off of this. Here's my rotary cutters. Okay? And this is all I have to do to this. Now, fold your waistband down. And make sure that when you fold it down, it's got enough room to fill in what's below it. Because it's not usually straight up and down. But in this case, it's okay, so thank goodness. Well, there we are. Yay! So that's all I've had to do, is add to that. And there was plenty of ease, plenty of ease. It looked like even maybe too much ease, so excited about that. You know, pajama pants, you can have all the ease you want. Now I know the pants are going to fit me. So it's very helpful to read the directions. It tells you to use the seam allowance, and it tells you on here that it does have 5/8 inch seam allowance. And it tells you for this curved part to fold it in 5/8 inch and then turn it in, you know, fold it in half like that into the 5/8 inch mark, which is what I did. And so the curve is sewn. The side seam and the bottom seam on this, I just folded up. So I am going to put these on here with my little clippies. Well, I've been fighting a sore throat for a couple days. I don't know what it's about. I think I told you, allergies so bad. I didn't take anything for them today. Oh, I hate taking those allergy meds. So this, you see how this comes to here. And then my pattern keeps on going. My pant keeps on going. Why is that? Because I am going to sew this on the waistline. My waistline is down here. That's where my waistline is. I think I made that 1/2 inch. So my waistline is there. So I am going to sew that across here. They have you sew it so it's covered by the waistband. I don't have a waistband, remember. I just extended mine so I can slap a piece of elastic in there. So this will fold down. Uh-oh. I see a real problem. Joy, joy, joy. That is stupid. Y'all see my problem? What I'm going to have to do, this won't be a finished edge. See, that's not a finished edge. And the casing doesn't fold in this way. The waistband does, but the casing doesn't. Duh! I'm just going to hem the top of the pocket, make it end up at the waistline, and I'm going to sew it there. Right there. Now let me see. How's that going to turn out? Well, let me see. This is going to come back like this. My elastic is going to go right through here, and this will be sewn right here. The casing will be sewn down right there, and so the pocket will come up right underneath the elastic. Does that make sense to y'all? Yeah, that's how we're going to do it. I'm also, at the same time, going to follow the directions, and I'm going to sew really, really, really close top stitch, very, very close to the edge, and then like another 1/8 of an inch in, maybe a 1/4 inch in, and sew these pockets. So the very first thing you do on these pants is you sew these 2 pockets on. After you sew the 2 pockets on, then you sew the front to the back. So easy, and I'll come back and I'll show you. I bet most of you have made pants and you already know, but I know I have all new people. It says I got like 60 new people. Hi, 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 I'm so excited to have you here. I forget to say it at the beginning. But I just love it when I get new people. And most people ask for tutorials. So if you're not interested in this and you can make a pair of pants with your eyes shut, just go away. I mean, go watch somebody else. Let me show you a pocket up close. You see right there where I sewed it to where the waist will be. And then I double stitched it on the straight parts. I can't really tell if it's in the camera or not. Oh, I think it's down there. And then I sewed it up the side just so it'll stay still. And then this, I just put 1 stitch in like it said to, and hemmed it, so that's where you put your hand. See, so this is sewn to the front leg. See how it's sewn to the front leg? And that's your pocket. Just that 1 single piece. I think it's a wonderful way to do a pocket. And always cut your threads off. I just didn't do it yet. But I will. Boy, I didn't get very straight right there, did I? What the heck? I wasn't drunk. Now I got straight the rest of the way. So you know I'm a perfectionist. And I couldn't stand that crooked stitching. So I went and I put some more glasses on top of my contact to see why I did that. What happened was part of this seam allowance that I folded down is sticking out. And so I accidentally sewed down the side of it. So I'm going to take this out and I'm going to fold that in where it belongs and re-sew it. Because, as my daughter says, I'm just a picky person. The other side, here's the other one, and it looks a whole lot better. Good afternoon on Wednesday. It's a new day, because you can tell my top is different. I'm pinning the front to the back. But I wanted to point out to you about the pocket. If you have never made a pair of pants of any kind before, pajama pants are the easiest, really. However, if you've never made pants before, I would suggest you find a pattern, simple pattern, elastic waist, no pockets, no buttons, no zippers, no trims. And that will be the easiest way for you to figure out if the pattern is going to fit you and you're going to like it. Make up a few pair of pants with that pattern. You can always add a pocket like this one to any pattern. You can see how easy that is. Sizes. What size do you buy? When you buy a pattern to make pants, check the waist and the hip. I've got one piece just a little bit longer here than it's supposed to be. If you get some ripples, go back and pin again. One piece might be a 1/16 of an inch longer than the other one or something. They've got to match up here at the top. So I've got them pinned. You see? Here's the crotch. See the crotch? We're not going to do anything with the crotch until later. Right now, we're sewing the side seam, this seam here, and we're sewing the inseam inside here. That's what we're doing the whole way up and down. Now you can do the exact same thing with a pattern that's for shorts. It'll just be shorter. With a pattern for capris, it'll just be shorter. Buy one that's full length and just cut it to where you want it. Same difference. Okay? So now I'm going to take this side. You got two sides, you know, you got two legs. So you have to do it 2 times. But pajama pants are fun. I don't like, even for me, never mind the fact that I've got a husband, to wear the same thing to bed every night. And the reason is because when you're my age, a bra is the most uncomfortable thing on the planet. It is like, my sister calls them harnesses. She always says, I've got to get this harness off. So the minute I had put the last dish in the dishwasher at night, which is usually about 6:30 or 7, I am in my bedroom getting in my pajamas. So it's really kind of an outfit I wear because I don't go to bed at 7 o'clock or 6:30. So I want to wear something, you know, that's not just a raggy old undershirt. And so I like to have different pajamas. I have several what we call lounge gowns, and it's just a pull over your head nightgown, a long t-shirt. Oh, those are so easy to make. Oh my goodness. Make some of those. I have a whole set of videos on making lounge gowns, we call them, that I did with my friend Viv years ago. How can you find that? Well, I'll put a link below in my description box, or here, or however I can figure that out. So you can, if you're new and you want to learn how to make a nightgown instead of pants and a t-shirt, it's even easier because all you do is you sew the shoulder seams and the side seams and put in the sleeve, and if you do a dolman sleeve, it'll already be there. So you sew shoulder seams, side seams, and you've got a lounge gown. You can make them in all different colors and all different prints, and I have. And I have a whole bunch of those. But I've worn those so much. And at night, when I'm sitting in my recliner watching TV, which is what we always do, I don't like bare legs. I don't like bare legs against a leather chair or a vinyl chair, or whatever kind of chair you have. So I like my legs covered. So I either make a long gown or long pants. Now here I've got one piece a little bit longer. I don't know how that happened. One piece seems to be like a 1/16 of an inch hair longer. But check, check, check. Go up and down. Now pins, if you're new at sewing, how do you put your pins? Well, I watched another lady and she put her pins in like this. And I watched another lady and she put her pins in like this. And I watched another lady and she didn't use pins at all. You can be yourself. You can put the pins however you want to put them. But the way I like to do it, I like to put the pin in at the seam allowance. My seam allowance is 5/8 inch. And I like to take a little bitty bite, so it's like a stitch. I don't like to take a big bite because then it can move back and forth on your pin. So I take a little bite at or very near to the seam allowance. That's how I do my pins. But no matter how you do your pins, you're not supposed to sew over them. So you sew, pull the pin out, sew, pull the pin out, sew, and you pull the pins out before you sew over them. So I'm going to go over there and I'm going to make 2 tubes and I shall return. So I have one leg sewn together. Figure out what's the front and what's the back. Now how do you tell the front from the back? 2 different ways. Number 1, the front crotch, unless you have a very large tummy, it's possible that the front crotch could be longer on you if you have a I have a tummy, that's for sure. But so far, I can still have shorter crotch in the front than the back. So here's the front, it's shorter, here's the back. Or the back has 3 notches, the front has 2. That's almost always the case. So I just took this leg in the other room in the mirror and I pulled it up on my body. Just like this. I did not have my jeans on. I had my jeans off. You are the best mannequin you will ever own. I don't care how many mannequins you have. And if it's digital, if you stuffed it, if you made it yourself, if you paid $1,200 for it like I did, mannequins don't change in shape. Their bodies don't fall. They don't get wider in some places and skinnier in other places. You are your best mannequin. So why do I do this? I will put this on. Say I never made a pair of pants before. I will put this on. My pocket's here. See my pocket? Love my pocket. The center front should come past your center front because it's going to have a seam allowance in it. And it's going to be gathered at the waist. So there should be some ease up here. Now I have it on over a pair of pants. And it still comes past my center front. It comes up above my belly button waist, which is where I want the elastic to start. In the back, it comes up where I want it to be. My sway back right here. And there's plenty of room, and it comes past center back. If you get to this point and you put it on and your pants are like this and you can't pull this over to the middle of you, what can you do? You can go back to the sewing machine. You haven't sewn the other one yet. And you can take out the side seam. Here I've sewn the side seam 5/8 inch. I haven't trimmed it, so I haven't started on a serger yet because the serger cuts the seam off. Why don't you start with the serger? I own half a dozen sergers. I mean, I really do. But I don't sew with the serger first because it cuts the rest of the seam off. I could sew this down to 1/4 inch. That would give me a 1/2 inch more here. Same thing on the inseam. That would give me 1/2 inch more here. That'd give me another whole inch in width. And that center front would come over. Would I do it the whole way down? No. I would just do it where I need it. Okay? You may need more in your thigh. You may need more in your calf. This very big leg, I like it big. It comes down underneath my foot right now. I'm going to put a very, very short hem in it and leave it long over my foot because I am tired of my pajama outfits always having the pants shrink. It seems like the more you wash them, especially in flannel. Cotton, not so much because I pre-wash it. Cotton's probably okay. But the flannel, every time I wash those things, they shrink. I'll have to put them on some night and show them to you how short they are. And they started out touching the floor. Okay? This is fine. Now I'm going to go sew leg number 2, and then I'll show you what to do next. If you have a serger, and you know for sure these are going to fit, serge off your seam allowances. Makes them so nice. So nice. Now if this was a pair of slacks that I was making, I would have pressed creases in the front and back before I sewed them together. But this is pajamas. And we don't need creases in pajamas. 1, 2. This is a leg and this is a leg. Right now we don't care what legs. We just have to get one tube inside the other tube so we can sew the crotch. Now, if I put this leg inside this leg like this, what would be wrong? What would be wrong with that? Well, what would be wrong is how you're trying to show it to us, lady. You're the worst teacher. Okay. If I put this leg inside that leg, like this, what would be wrong? What would be wrong is you've got a wrong side against a right side. I have to have two right sides together. So when I turn this back with two legs separate and not one inside the other, I need them both to be right side out, right side out. So you have to be sure you're sewing right sides together. So you take one leg and you turn it right side out. Very easy. There it is, it's right side out. Now take it and stick it inside the other leg. So you see what we've got now? We've got right side and right side. That's how you know you have it right. Shake it out. Come back up to the top. Put your great big U shape, your horseshoe, match it up at the inseams. The inseam is this seam. It's on the inside of your leg. It's the inseam. This is the side seam. This is the inseam. I turn the two seams opposite of each other, doesn't matter. Makes it a little easier to sew over. So I'm going to pin them together here at the crotch first. Right there at the crotch. See there? Where the seam allowances are? Pinned together. Now, just continue pinning. You should have two backs. How do you know if it's a back? Because it has 3 clips. How do you know if it's a front? It has 2. So there's 2 and there's 2. Be very, 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 very sure that you don't have 3 on one piece and 2 on the other. If you do, stop the train and get off. Find a cafe, go have a donut and a drink. Take your pattern with you. Oh, what are we sewing here? We're sewing the center front. We're sewing this, the center front, and the center back. So that is the U, you see, the U, which is called the crotch. God, you think they could have named that something a little nicer than a crotch. It sounds so grouchy, doesn't it? Pin, pin, pin. Look here. What did I say for the back? 3 clips. Now what you can do, what if the crotch isn't right? How will we know? Because after you do this step, you're going to go pull these pants up on your body, over your underpants. You're going to take your other pants off. Take your top off too, because it'll help you see your waist. I'll show you how. We're going to put elastic around the unfinished top. And then we're going to fiddle with the pants to see where we want the crotch. We're just going to go, you know, until you get it how you want it. All right, so here's my big crotch, all pinned together. I'm going to go sew it, serge it, then we're going to do the elastic waistband test. Let's see what we've got. All the pins are gone. The crotch U-shape horseshoe is sewn and serged. We've still got one leg inside the other leg. right sides together. So take the inside leg out. And take the other leg, so it's right side out. And now you've got a pair of pants. Your pair of pants is all sewn together, except for hemming the bottoms and finishing the waist at the top. Now look at mine, how much higher the back, this is the back. Look how much higher it comes up than the front. Why is that? Because you've got more room back here, you've got to go over. Even though I've got a pretty flat rear end, you still got one. And I have a sway back, so I like mine to come up here to my, you know, the only dent I've got left in my body. I don't like when I sit down for my pants to ride down in the back. That bugs me to no end. Okay? So this is what we've got now. So what we're going to do is put them on. Put elastic around my waist. Not me. There's no we here. I'm going to put them on, put an elastic band around my waist, and then I'm going to adjust to see exactly where I want my waist to be on this pair of pants. If I had nobody looking at me, the shirt would be off, and I would just be standing here in my bra. But since you're looking at me on your TV, you know, we have to be decent. Nobody wants to see a granny in her bra. So you see my piece of elastic. Get yourself a piece of elastic that's the same width as what you're going to put into your pant. I'm putting 1 inch elastic in here. So this is 1 inch elastic. So, putting it on, 3-way mirror. Oh, if you don't have a 3-way mirror, you've got to get one. Because you've got to check. They're real bendy, you know. Woo! Boy, I look like a pumpkin, don't I, in these? Good grief. See what I mean? See what I mean about pulling it up? Pull it up around. I'm lower on one side than I'm the other. My waist is a 1/2 inch higher on one side than the other. So I'm just going to pull these like this had a waistband. Doesn't have a waistband, but I'm pretending like it has a waistband. And I'm going to see where I want it to land. Where's my belly button? My belly button's right there. So I'm going to take a marker of some sort and I am going to draw at the bottom of this elastic. I left a certain amount up here to cover this elastic up, but I can use more than what I left. I may want it down a little lower. I may want it up a little higher, but I can't have it up a little higher because I didn't allow extra, and I made these before, so it's probably just right. But I'm saying, if it's your first time, allow extra. Yeah, that's starting to feel good to me. Right. Now the next thing is finding something that will mark. That's exactly. When I get done with these, I want the top to be just like that over this elastic. Now, get your husband to come help you, or your neighbor or your friend. Someone that you can stand showing your 76-year-old shape to. Okay. Now right here in the back, you can see how there's more here and there's less here. Can you see that? Why is that? That's because I'm a 1/2 inch lower here. I'm a 1/2 inch higher here. And this is where it will be found out. What about the pockets? Doesn't matter about the pockets, this kind of pockets. If you have another kind of pockets, where there's part of the pocket on the front and part of the pocket on the back, you're not going to be able to adjust the side seams with that kind of pocket. With this kind of pocket, you can adjust the side seams, like I showed you earlier. So, very nice. This looks just right. Now, what can I do since Jerry isn't here? You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to put pins right into the elastic, and then I'll go in there and I'll make some marks. Yeah. I know this is right because this is longer than this. And that's the way my body is. And the crotch feels perfect, just perfect. very comfortable. Sit down, get a chair, sit down. See there? Sit down. Still works. Didn't come apart. Stayed where I had it. Yeah. So cute. Now you make yourself a pajama top that comes all the way down over your belly. So nobody can see your belly. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a pin in the center front and a pin in the center back and a pin here and a pin here right in the elastic. That way I can mark it off of my body. Take it off, you know, and put the marks. So I'll be back again. I've been back a lot in this video, haven't I? Let me show you what I did now. I had these on. I folded it down over the elastic. Here's the top of the elastic. And here on the inside, I just took a friction marker and I drew a line. You can't see it. So here's the elastic I just had on my body. I pinned it. So I folded it down over the elastic and put a pin, and so now I'm just drawing a line at the bottom of the elastic. I can feel the elastic, and I'm just drawing a line. And so I don't know what point, there's 4 points, I don't know which point this is, but that's how I mark it, because it's impossible to draw on yourself, I'll tell you. Otherwise, I would have a line the whole way around on the front. See here? Here's the other piece. I can't show you, I'm sorry, y'all. See there? I've marked the orange line. And here, the pin's already out, and I've marked the orange line. So now I've got them all marked. Let's take all the pins out. What are you going to do now? Now we're going to get a really long ruler. Here's the elastic. Taking the elastic out. You're going to make yourself an elastic band like this. Cut a length of elastic, put it around your waist, make it comfortable. You can see this was this much bigger. I've got it crossed over that much. Make it comfortable, and then sew it together and make yourself an elastic waistband. I've done this over and over because I've used different lengths, different widths. This is 1 inch elastic. All right, let me see if you can see what I'm going to do next. We're going to turn the pant inside out again. You have to have a long ruler. This one might be long enough. So you can see here, this is the back. And the back actually is plenty high. So I want this to fold on that orange line, just like that. And the elastic's going to go in here, and then I ended up with this much left over. So when I raised my pattern, because it appeared to me that I needed to, where's the back? That's the front. This is the back. Remember, I put the yellow paper in, and I added that huge amount to the back crotch length. I don't need it. So when I get this in here the way it goes, I will see how much I have left over and take that back out of here. Paper doesn't fit like fabric does, my friends. And it's way better to have too much than to have not enough. Remember that always. Always better. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to draw from here to here. Now this is a real screwy looking waist. You're going to say, how's the elastic going to go in there? That goes straight uphill. I know. That's how can I even look like I'm not made of wood or something. There you go. There's the back of me. Now this is the side and this is the side. One side should be a ½ inch different than the other. Let's see if it is. This is 1, 2, 3 1/4. This is 1, 2, 3 1/2. About 3, yeah, 3 1/2. So it's only a 1/4 inch difference, which is good. Maybe I'm not a whole ½ inch off. Maybe I'm only a 1/4 inch off in that area. And the rest of my offage is up higher. I have scoliosis in my back. So I have been this way my whole life. My daddy used to, when I'd stand at the kitchen sink doing dishes, and my daddy'd still be sitting over at the table, he'd always say, "Stand up straight, Jory, stand up straight." I guess they never did figure out that I had scoliosis. Never has gotten worse, so. Now this, here I am in the front. This is my pockets, pocket. Here I am in the front. It's much, much straighter than my back. What I have to do next is allow the part that's going to fold over and make my casing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw 1 inch for the elastic, another inch for the elastic because you have to have 2 parts to cover the elastic. Then I'm going to come up another 1/2 inch. Another 1/2 inch. So I am going to come up from the elastic 2.5 inches. So I will just go get my rotary cutter and my ruler, and I will cut this from the inside above that orange line that I drew. And that will make the pant fit me great. It's going to look really crazy, but once I get this cut, nobody's going to know how crazy it looks. Let me go get a different ruler and you'll see what I'm talking about. Let me see, what one can I work? And so we're going to have 2.5. Make sure you know how to read your ruler. And I'm not kidding. Rulers are all different. Look at this ruler. It starts out with a 1/2 inch down here. I hate rulers that do that. Becky likes them. Starts out with a 1/2 inch down there. And then you come up here to 1 inch and up here to 1 inch. So 2.5 inches is actually here. But look, it says here's a 1 and here's 2, but here's a 1/2. See, the 1 inch is from here to here, not from here. Do you understand? Know your ruler. I try to show you, it's like, well, that looks normal. 2.5. 1, 2.5. So where I'm going to cut it, look here. Now we're getting into territory where you can't go backwards. And I'm doing 2.5 inches above my orange line. Good heavens. I gotta find a top to come down over all this chubbiness on my body. 1, 2.5. I will serge this edge. 2.5. And since I'm not straight, there's places where, now see here, if I cut that there, that's only 2 inches. You really have to watch your measurements on these rulers. Because that looked right to me at first, and then it didn't. We're turning corners now. All right. Got that much done. So now I can look at this, which if I would mark the back, let me see, where did I just cut this from? Right there, that pumpkin matches that pumpkin. What seam is this? That is the front crotch. That's front crotch. I'm going to write on there, front crotch. Now, what seam is that? That's a side seam. All right, coming to the back crotch, let's call this center back. CB. CB. Because I need to see how much to cut off the center back that I added that I didn't really need. Remember, paper's different than fabric. You can pull this up and make it straight, a little bit straighter. Okay, so there's how much extra I have on my center back, and I'll bet you it's the exact same amount as this yellow paper. Exact. So the yellow paper is coming off. Don't need it. Did not need that extra in my back. What if I was using 1 1/4 inch elastic? We would have to cut it a different width. It would have to have. Measure 6 times, cut once. I still got a little piece here. All of these little things that you do make a really nice finished garment. Philly and I have to do stuff like this. Philly, you know Philly? I have new people. Might not know Philly. I met Philly on the internet just like you. And I found out she lived in the same town I lived in. And I said, hey, we should meet. And so we did. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna serge this edge. Then I am going to fold it down 1.5 inch. The elastic goes from there to there. Then the top has to cover it, plus leave extra for a seam allowance. See, here's the extra. You can't see it because it's black, but let me find a white part. Let's look for a white part. There you go. So you line your elastic up with the orange line that you drew. That's my waist that I drew out there in the mirror. Fold it over to cover the elastic. Then we're going to sew right there. See, and so this part here is seam allowance. And I'll have serged it, so it'll be probably 3/8 inch. But I'll sew it there, and then I will put the elastic in the casing. It will be called a casing then, which means it is, something will be inside it, like sausage, see? I'll be back. Here I am at the ironing board. Get one of these. Don't get one of these, get 10 of these. Because they disappear all the time. They like to run away and hide. So I have serged this whole edge. And so when I serged this whole edge, a tiny, tiny bit came off. So I came in here and I just measured to see, oh, how much is left, what it wants to be, and it's still really, really close to 2.5. Take your elastic, put it on the orange line, that's your waist. It's got to be above your waist, not below, above. Put it on the orange line, fold the top over the elastic because it might take just a little bit more than 1 inch. And let's see how much it wants. Yeah, it wants 1.1/8 inch. I'm gonna fold it over to there and press it. It's a little bit less than 1.5 because the turn of the cloth needs a little bit of room. You know what the turn of the cloth is? The turn of the cloth is the part that goes, see the elastic, it has a thickness. So the turn of the cloth is what goes over the elastic and it takes a little bit of room. Okay, about 1/8 of an inch. Remember, this is gonna be as big as your hip. This is bigger than your waist. This has to be as big as your hip, so there's gonna be fullness in it. Why does it have to be as big as your hip? Because you can't put this on over your head. You have to pull it on up over your rear end. If this was really full right here, you could take this seam right here and take it in a little bit and make that flat. But it's gonna have elastic in it, it's not gonna matter. There's my pocket, there's the top of my pocket. And it's landing right at my waist. More or less, it's in there somewhere. Line up. Where you have a seam allowance, make that line up in your ironing here. Don't have it like this. Line it up straight, and that will keep the top of your area here straight. Very important. Don't pin it to your ironing board either. There you go. There you go. See, I will sew this down before I put the elastic in, and I'll leave a little opening here somewhere. Steam iron's wonderful. Did I tell you, I bought a steam iron that was 3 times the price of this one. I did that about 3 different times, and they all broke. After 1 year, they started leaking. Sometimes I had a warranty and got it replaced, and the new one even leaked in 1 year. And since I bought this one, it has worked wonderful. It is a Rowenta, and it's called a Focus. And I'm sure by now it's a different price and a different color. But I bought 3 or 4 of them. I thought it was such a good price, and they had them on sale. And I thought, I'm going to buy several of those. And so I had extras in case this one started leaking. It's never leaked. It's amazing. So I really like this iron. It steams just as good as that other one with the big bottle of water. I'm sure you got the idea by now. I'll show you something else in a minute. Now everybody's machines are different. But I imagine your machine has the ability to move the needle over. So I have decided that I am going to sew it right here. I'm lining the top, where the fold is, up with this line right here on my sewing machine. And I've moved the needle over 2 places. So the area that I am going to leave open is exactly 1 1/8 inch. I'm measuring from the needle to my edge right here. Okay? So I'm going to start sewing there, and then when I come around, I'm going to stop before I get to the end to leave a place to open this up. And my battery's fixing to go dead, so I will come back when I get it all sewn. How about that? And I get a new battery. But you can see I have sewn all the way around, all the way around, all the way around. And I have left an opening right here in the center back, near the center back, to insert my elastic. I'm going to go put some elastic in and finish these pants. Some of you may never have put elastic in before. If you never made pants before, maybe you never did. So you get some elastic. Put it around your waist and add 3 or 4 inches. Make sure you got enough. So we're all ready to put the elastic in. I bet you can tell what part this is of my pants. Center back. Here's the center front. And there's my 2 pockets. And look at that. They landed right at the top of the elastic. Get yourself some elastic, put it around your waist, and add a couple inches. Get a pin. Now sometimes you'll get halfway through and the stupid pin will come undone. It is infuriating. So get a piece of tape and put it around. Now there are little doohickeys you can buy that are supposedly supposed to put elastic in. I have had horrible luck with all of them. So I find a safety pin to be the best. And so now I have taped it shut so it can't come open. Let's find my pin. So I was telling you that I taped the head of the pin. You saw me do it. I have actually, in the past, squeezed the head of the pin with a pair of pliers so it couldn't come undone. Well, when you do that, something crazy happens. The head of the pin will never come undone again as long as you live. Duh, Joy. So, I don't do that anymore. But even if you did, and it came out that end, you can always cut it up with some clips, you know. What are those little things called that are sharp and cut wires? And just throw the pin away. I have lots and lots of safety pins. But it is just horrible when you get this far around and your pin comes unpinned and the point comes through. You have to unsew this and lift it up to get that out of there. It's a mess. Yeah, I have done that. I've done so many goofy things. But you know, those kind of things make you better. Practice makes perfect. Practice. Try not to twist your tape. It's real easy to get it twisted too. Stay straight. Oh great, where'd my pin go? Uh-oh, I just pulled it completely backwards. Find your pin. Where are you? Here it is. Hold the pin as you're pulling it. Boy, I'm just going to make every mistake I've ever made just for this video. I'm doing it on purpose, right? So I can teach you what not to do. Before you pull this, hold the pin. It's not my favorite thing to do, but why can't you leave the elastic in there and just sew over it? Because you will sew on the elastic. And then if you sew on the elastic in certain places, then you're not able to adjust it. Now some people do sew it on purpose all the way around. But when you do that, it's permanent. You can't change the size of it. Now see here, I could just clip this and get it out. But I'm going to try to unpin it. It's all the way around. pull that off. It came off pretty easy. Unpin it, take that out. Now, we are going to pin this, or hold it, pin this that you just pulled through, pin it so it doesn't come out again. Pin it down. You sure don't want that to pull back through. You have all this extra here. So we're gonna pull it around and around and around. Still, you don't want all that extra to come through, but you got plenty to play with. Yeah. Just keep your eye on it. My waist is about as big as my hips these days, which is very sad. Okay, so you see here, and I cut this quite a bit longer than I needed it. So I'm gonna pin it, and I'm gonna leave this extra hanging. Don't cut it yet. Don't cut it yet. Don't cut it yet. Now if you do, it's not the end of the world. You can come back to your sewing machine and sew it back on again and make it longer. But I just leave it there till I put these pants on and I make sure the waist is exactly how I want it. I don't want them tight. I put these on after dinner every night, you know, so I just ate my dinner and I want them comfortable. And it is late in the day, it's 4:30 p.m. right now, so, and I've had 2 meals today. I'd say I'm gonna need them a little bit looser than that. Of course, you know, I'm gonna put them on for real. For real. I don't want anything tight on my body in the evening or in my bed. I don't ever wear the pants to bed, by the way. I don't. You can, but I don't. You know why I don't? Because they just pull up my leg. They just pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up, and they're up above my knees, and I'm all twisted up in bed. I can't stand any pants on in bed. Same with long nightgowns. All right, so there we go. So I can measure somewhere, if I had a measuring tape, and see, you know, oh, I think that's gonna be just fine. So once I figure out where to cut this off, I am going to sew it together. Now, what you can do, and it's a smart idea if you go up and weight and down and weight, but I'm my highest weight right now. I go up 5, down 5, up 5, down 5. So you can cross it over for about 2 inches. You know, don't just sew it at the very, very tip. Cross it over for about 2 inches and sew it. And then, if later you do gain a little bit of weight, you can just open this back up and let it out and you'll have longer elastic. Or you can cut it and add more elastic, either way. But you might as well have a little extra in there. It really is nice. And that is one reason. I just told you, some people sew the elastic on to the pant all the way around, sew it on. But when you do that, you can't change it. It's permanent because it's already cut and it's sewn on the whole way around. This you can pull out. You can put new elastic in, you can add more, you can cut some off. So this is the way I like to do it. I like it just floating around in there so I can deal with the elastic. My clothes last forever because I just don't wear them that much and I hardly ever wash them. You know, I may wash these once a year or less because I only wear them for a few hours in the evening and then they go back in the closet. And I don't ever wear them outside and I don't ever wear them to bed. So I figured they never get dirty, right? Unless I spill something on them. But they're done, and they're so cute. So now all I'll do is I'll hem the bottoms, and these pants will be done. This is the next day. I wore my pajama pants last night while we were up here watching TV, and put them back on this morning after my shower, and I'll probably wear them all day. No, I won't go anywhere. They are my pajama pants. But how fun. Look at here in my pocket. Huh? How nice is that? The back. The side. The front. 2 pockets. The other side I already showed you. You have to have matching black slippers. Oh, love it, love it. I didn't have any orange fabric to make an orange top, but I've decided black looks best with it anyway. And this is just a cheap black t-shirt from Walmart. So I have decided to put some pumpkins on it and make it the pajama shirt. This is an insert. Tell me what you like better. My pumpkins here or my pumpkins where they were? How am I doing this? I took the scrap, I had a big scrap of this fabric, and I ironed seam a seam to light on the back of a couple of the pumpkins. And then I cut them out. And then I peeled the paper off, and so now they're sticky, so you can move them all over. And when you're wearing the top, instead of it just laying out on the table, it's so fun to see how you want to put them. I thought maybe I'll put one on the sleeve and one on the back and one on the belly. But I think I like this. What do you think? So here we go. Rubber band waist, as my mother called it. You don't have to put pockets. If you don't use pockets, I use pockets all the time because I'm always clean. Look, see here. Kleenex, Kleenex. I have boxes in every room. Make yourself some pajama pants. They're so fun. And as big as the legs are, there's no way they're not going to fit your legs. Now, if you don't want the legs that big, take them in. See here? Yeah, look at that. Just take them in. Take them in on the sides and take them in on the inseam, same amount. Take them in an inch on the inside, an inch on the outside, and then you'll have fitted pants. But I want mine big and loose because they're pajama pants. And remember, I don't wear mine to bed. If you have any questions, ask me in the comments below. Most of you, I know, already know how to sew, and a lot of you sew better than I do. But some of you did ask me to show you how to make pajama pants. I have been doing these videos for years and years and years, over 10 years. I have over 1,000 videos. And lots of them have tutorials on how to make a blouse, or how to make a lounge gown, or how to make pants, or I did an extensive one on how to make pants. So if you just go to, when you're on YouTube and you look somebody up, and you go to Joy Bernhardt, up above that is a place that says videos. Just click on any of my videos, I guess you can do that, and click on Joy Bernhardt, and then it will go to my channel. And up above it says videos, and if you click on videos there, it will give you a search box, and you can search tutorial, or how to make a blouse, how to make pants, something like that. And my videos about that should come up for you. If not, I'm sorry, that's as much as I know about YouTube. Enjoy making your first pair of pajama pants. Bye for now.